Hey there, Rachel here. Thank you so much for joining today. I hope you learned something new. Okay, there were a ton of questions, so I'm going to try to rapid fire these and I'm going to do my best. And I'm also looking at a couple different screens, so I'm sorry if it's awkward. All right. So one of the first questions was the role of Zapier versus Mailchimp versus Bloomerang. So real off the top, Bloomerang, that is your CRM. That's where all your donor information goes. Mailchimp, that is your email marketing. That's where you are likely sending most of your newsletters and emails and things like that. And then Zapier is a tool that is used to kind of integrate platforms that maybe don't talk. And the caveat to this is Bloomerang and Mailchimp actually do talk, but what we want them to do is to talk in a different way. And so many people on the call were a little unclear of why Zapier was necessary and really how it differs from the built-in Mailchimp integration. And so kind of high level, Zapier really extends the functionality of Bloomerang and Mailchimp, and it's helpful because what it can do is automate your donor journeys and help. So if in Mailchimp, if you create a journey where you have multiple emails going, over the course of, say 5 emails over 5 weeks, that's called a drip campaign. And currently the way that the integration works with Bloomerang and Mailchimp, that isn't done automatically. And so what Zapier is going to do is allow, and this workflow that I created is going to allow for that to happen automatically. You can still send emails one-off in Bloomerang or in Mailchimp, but what we're trying to do is alleviate some of your kind of the mental labor that you have to remember of like all the different emails that need to go to all the different groups. So another question was kind of how donor segmentation and grouping works in automations. And this can be kind of confusing because it's a lot of different words to explain a lot of different things. And so, so inside of Bloomerang, you have your groups. Groups are a way to think. So right here, actually right here. So groups are a way that you can segment different groups of people inside of Bloomerang. So you've got alumni. Again, this is a demo account, but you've got members, pet adoption, things like that. So you can group different people. So those are different segments. So inside of Bloomerang, you've got two different types of groups. You've got groups that, groups that are updated dynamically. So lapsed donors. Bloomerang is automatically pulling this information. New donors. Bloomerang, again, is automatically pulling this information. These other groups, these are dynamic groups. So the only way to get people into these groups is by manually adding them. Now, okay, you can manually add them, but again, what I'm trying to do is help you not have to do that extra work. So I created this Zapier workaround so that it is updating these things for you automatically. So, and so then with this Zapier workaround, basically what it's doing is it is then tagging people inside of Mailchimp in a certain way. And then, so whether they're a new donor, current donor, whatever, and then it is because of the two-way sync with Bloomerang and Mailchimp, the information that's collected in Mailchimp, it's then sent over to Bloomerang to be recorded so that you have that information about your donors, also inside of Bloomerang. And so there's groups inside of Bloomerang, dynamic groups and static groups. There's tags. Tags are usually inside of Mailchimp. So these are, you've probably used tags before. We created the trigger tags and stuff for for all of these automations. And then we have donor segments, and those donor segments, so there's donor segments that you can create inside of Mailchimp, but also Bloomerang has groups which are kind of act like donor segments. So another big question that was coming up was the cost and feasibility of implementing these automations. So Bloomerang, if you're using Bloomerang and then using Mailchimp and using Zapier are going to be additional costs. And so I obviously believe in automation. I've seen how much time, I've seen how much more I can do because of automation. And so, Zapier, as I mentioned, usually organizations can start with the lowest level of zaps, which is about 750 zaps per month, and that ends up being about $240 a year. It might go up if you have, a big event or more gifts coming in, but most organizations can kind of start at that basic level. There is a nonprofit discount. That price does not include that. Then with Mailchimp, in order to kind of split the different segments and do different journeys, you're going to need the standard level of Mailchimp, which is, there's like the free level, there's basic level, and then there's the standard level. And so it is a jump in price. But generally, if you are breaking down, the potential costs and savings, you're like, by setting this up, are you all of a sudden going to get a ton more, donations coming in? Probably not. I mean, that's going to take time, but automation can free up your time for more of those high value donor interactions and really free you up so that you can be building all of those relationships so that you aren't spending time on, trying to figure out what email needs to go to what donor, or just not sending them anything at all. And so it's kind of a net positive, right? So you're going to save time so that, if you're paying somebody salary, you're not paying them to be sending emails all day. You're paying them to, having these building these donor relationships. And then you will also be retaining your donors. And so over time, you're going to start to see that ROI increase over and over again. So, okay, couple more questions here. Okay, so I kind of grouped these. Okay, getting started with automation. What tools do I need to start automating donor communication? So as I mentioned, Mailchimp, because there is that integration with Bloomerang, and then Zapier is how you can do that advanced segmentation. Can I use the Bloomerang built-in tool, or do I need Mailchimp Zapier? So as I mentioned before, Mailchimp allows you to have those ongoing journeys and drip communication, meaning you set it up once and then you don't have to send it again. Whereas while you can send donor emails in Bloomerang, you have to go in and manually do that every single time. And so what this is doing is you set it up once and then it's all being done for you. So is there a free way to implement automations, or do I need the paid tools? So in order to do this automation in Zapier specifically, being able to do the split paths, split paths are a paid feature, but I highly recommend it because you could probably technically figure out how to do this. You could probably figure out how to do this with the free version. But what I will say is it will be a ton more work than just paying for you will spend so much time trying to setting up the workflows. and the double checks, because this is doing all the filtering for you, that you could just pay for Zapier and have it take up way less time. So, donor segmentation and targeting. How can I segment donors for personalizing automations? So this is kind of what we were talking about. Can I set up workflows for different types of donors? So I really showed you, for new donors, recurring donors, and current donors. But again, you can get even more in the weeds, even more segmenting. So email automation and best practices. I saw a couple of questions about unsubscribes and email fatigue. So just based on what I know about organizations and emails, like the amount of emails that are being sent, you are not sending enough emails. In this current environment, people need to, you need to over communicate with people what's going on. And I think email fatigue really comes from bad emails. So one thing that that we do at the automation agency, we offer, we will write the emails for you for all of these workflows. And we focus on conversion copy. And so what that means is our goal is to write emails that are really good, really engaging, tell your organization's story, but also make sure that donors are giving again, because once they give one gift, we want them to give two gifts. Once they give two, we want them to become, giving on a regular basis or become a monthly donor. And so I don't think that the frequency of emails is contributing to that donor fatigue. I think it's bad emails. So, and then also when it comes to unsubscribes, so I think unsubscribes are great. That means that people are self-selecting. You actually want unsubscribes to happen because that means that people are, the people that are on your list are super engaged. And again, kind of going back to why people unsubscribe, oftentimes people unsubscribe because you are not emailing enough. And so when your email pops up, they're like, oh, what is this organization? Why am I on this list? But if you are communicating on a regular basis, they're not going to be unsubscribing, or at least not unsubscribing as frequently. Also, when you have unsubscribes, and that means your list is more engaged, which means your open rates, your click-through rates, all of those important things are going to be increasing. So can Bloomerang track opens and clicks from Mailchimp emails? So the reason that we do this Zapier workaround is because of that two-way sync with Bloomerang and Mailchimp. So by segmenting and then feeding that information through Mailchimp and back into Bloomerang, it allows for Bloomerang to track all of that information. That being said, the analytics inside of your email marketing platform are going to be way better than what Bloomerang isn't really going to analyze. It's going to tell you what the information is, but Mailchimp is where you're going to get better analytics. So can you stagger email sends to control response? So with drip campaigns, remember, these emails are only going out when new donations are coming in. And they're only going to people who have donated. And if you work with us, I actually have some different tags that I use to make sure that donors who start getting these emails aren't actually getting all of the emails that you are sending, because that would be way too much. But also within the different workflows or the journeys, like within Mailchimp, you can put space in between each time. So, you can set it for like once a week or, once every 8 days or whatever it is, however long you want, or however much space you want in between those emails, so that people aren't getting, just a flood of emails all at once. So can donors choose which emails to unsubscribe instead of opting out completely? Yeah, absolutely. I think in your inside of your Mailchimp, you have kind of that footer. You want to make sure that the preferences, manage your preferences, is updated. That is definitely a way to keep people from unsubscribing completely. They can decide what types of emails that they get. So I would definitely do that. But again, going back to unsubscribes, like if somebody doesn't want your emails and they're not going to open them, then I would encourage you to have a smaller but more engaged list, and you're going to get way better results because of that. Okay, cost and ROI. So question about the estimated cost of Zapier, Mailchimp, Bloomerang altogether. This, I can't give an example or an exact number just because every organization is different. It depends on how many constituents you have. So yeah, I can't quite give that answer. Is investment in automation worth it for nonprofits? I mean, I did start the nonprofit automation agency, so I would say yes. On average, when we have done this type of thing for organizations that hire us to do this, on average, we are saving them about 900 hours a year, which, hold on, please pause. 900 divided by 52. Yeah, that's like 17 hours a week. I mean, I'm not joking around here. Like, we can save you some serious time. Like, you would be amazed at how much time you're wasting on things that could totally be automated. So what are my options if I don't have time to set it up myself? You can hire us. I will make sure that the link is provided. Our process is that you schedule a demo, and through the demo, we will make sure that you are a good candidate for this. And I have all my pricing, and I try to be really transparent with all my pricing. It is an investment, but remember, you're investing in the infrastructure of your organization. So it's an important investment. So a couple questions about kind of advanced automation and custom workflows. So can Zapier create future tasks in Bloomerang, like call reminders and things like that? The answer is yes, but what is the trick? Like, what's triggering them? So that's one thing that we would need to kind of figure out, like what's triggering these automatic reminders. Is it like, a donation comes in and then you wait for 30 days and then that reminder pops in, something like that. Can failed payments be automated instead of manual process? Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes, absolutely. If you did not see the LinkedIn post that I posted during our session. So with LinkedIn, the post I'm talking about is I had an organization follow up with me for a monthly gift that my credit card expired, and I ignored all of the automated reminders that they did set up, and then so apologies to that organization, but then they actually followed up with me individually, which, knowing this organization, my guess is that was automated too, but it was perfect. And I fixed my payment, set up my card again, and actually, like, because they did such a good job like following up, I upped my monthly gift. So can automations be applied to physical mail? Yes. So one of the examples that we do, one of the workflows that I do when you work with me is setting up like a handwritten card. And there's lots of platforms and softwares that allow you to do this, and they're super, super cool. So where can I learn more about setting up automation? So a couple different places. Obviously, if you're on my email list, definitely follow me. I'm talking about automation all the time. I also have something called Sprouted Essentials, which all of my trainings that I've ever done are in Essentials, and it's $25 a month. So you can go check out all of the different trainings, and there are like tons and tons of tutorials. can Bloomerang automate reports and donor tracking? So I know that you can like have reports being sent to you, but I haven't actually done a report where you like automate the report. And so, yeah, everything's figure outable. I could probably figure it out. So yeah, okay, that's kind of the bulk of them. That's a lot of questions of like what are also some best practices for donor email engagement. So that is something that we totally do during like if you end up hiring us, we will help you with all of your copywriting. We'll do like an email marketing audit to make sure that everything is that you're really maximizing every single email that you send out. They're landing in the correct inbox, like all of those different things. So, okay, that's it. I wish I could send you this Zap, but unfortunately, it is because it has the split paths. I can't actually send it to you. So I am sorry about that. I wish I could, but reach out if you have questions. But if this is something that you if you want to like explore, have us do, then please schedule a demo and yeah, let me know.